No, Tamara, Shannon may not be the victim, but you certainly are the villain. And let's keep a mental note to ourselves, you guys, that if we're ever in a need to vent and lean on someone's shoulder, let it not be Heather, okay? What's going on, y'all? It's your girl, Taina B here. Welcome to my chat party where the party is lit. We get it in. Just little old me giving my little old opinions. Fun, not all facts, sometimes facts, but point is, don't hold me to stuff. I just like sharing my thoughts and my opinions. And I appreciate you guys so much for the love that you share to stop by and listen, joining in on my party, if for a little bit, if for a lot of it, if showing up fashionably early, fashionably late, whatever it is. I appreciate you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. You already know that you know what it is. I'm going to give my special shout outs at the end of the video because I'm sure you guys are going to want me to go ahead and get into it. So for those of you that have subscribed up until this point and increased my guest list, I appreciate y'all. And for those in the future who will go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the party, I appreciate you so much as well. Hitting that like button, sharing your comments. I'm telling you, y'all was showing out for real on the dance floor in those comments. And I appreciate you so, so much. And I have to give a special shout out in this special month for all Libras, since I'm a Libra too. Definitely birthday celebration in full effect. As a matter of fact, I have to go get dressed after this video, but I wanted to come on really quickly to just kind of share my thoughts and spend a little bit of time with you guys because I appreciate the fact that you spend time with me when you stop by and you watch. So happy birthday to all my Libras out there. What's up, Libras? What's going on? Wishing you many, many more. Of course, it's a blessing for any birthday, any day of the year. But, we're in October, so what can I say? And on top of that, guys, look, I got a birthday pony. Y'all like my birthday pony? I'm about to get it in, okay? Anywho, so let's go ahead and get into this, right? This is Real Housewives of Orange County, season 18, episode number 14. And so we start off with Heather, Gina, Jen, and Shannon having their memos done. And ladies, we know it's super important and it's actually perfect timing for this episode to air. I think it's always good timing regardless because you just want to stay on top of things. But October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, right? So what better time to kind of bring this up and let this be a topic of discussion than now? And so I will say, even for myself, unfortunately, my maternal grandmother passed away from breast cancer, and she was only 44 years old. I never even had a chance to meet her. And then my maternal aunt, she had a bout with breast cancer and went into remission. And, unfortunately, it's my belief. I feel like it just eventually kind of metastasized into something bigger. And so, with that being said, that's even more reason for me to stay on top of, my health because of my history. And so I actually have my mammo scheduled for November 11th, and I go every year. And so hopefully this will encourage, if not all of you, many of you, to just kind of stay on top of it, right? It's like we know it can be a scary thing for sure, but what better way to attack a situation than to take the preventative measures as early as possible, or to be in the know and not just kind of sit there and have things going on that you're unaware about. You know what I'm saying? So, you definitely want to be in a position and ease your mind. Like, for instance, who was it? Shannon, Gina, and Jen, and be able to say at the end of their mammogram, we're good. We're good. So shout out to all of you who will definitely stay on top of that. And for those of you who need a little push, there's my push. Go ahead and get it done, ladies. All right. We are in this together. But anywho's, and so Gina asked Shannon if she ever sent the text to Alexis, right, about her not being able to attend London. And Shannon says yes. And she even shares Alexis's response. And this nimwit, Alexis that is, says, since you're hosting a trip to Europe with your friends, surely you can scrounge up the funds to pay my future husband his $75,000. And first of all, Alexis, this is why I don't like you, because you don't even know what you be talking about. Shannon is not paying for the trip. Bravo usually pays for these trips, okay? Or the production company pays for these trips. Who really comes out of pocket to pay for any of these things? So be quiet. Second, this shows even more why Shannon should have shut you down the way that she has and she did when you wanted to talk in episodes past, or even when you called yourself extending an olive branch with the flowers that you sent to her, because you're showing how fake you are and how your intentions, to make amends, it's really not genuine. It's really not a thing, right? Clearly you just want to go on this trip to London and you got upset in your feelings and you got shut down and you need to stay wherever you're at, right? And so it's yet again a reminder, guys, just of how mean spirited this woman could be. Even if she wants to come across like she's this saint, not a sinner, she's very mean spirited. And it shows, and you can't hide that, right? And obviously, we know, what does it say? A leopard doesn't change its spots that quickly. Like, girl, goodbye. Okay. Whatever you were giving all those episodes, that continuous, you know, fire at Shannon, that's who you are. Okay. And we believe you. So I love how Shannon imitated the safe travels emoji with the Lexus at the end of the text. And I was like, exactly. At the same time, safe travels to her, though. Safe travels to you, Alexis, because you're going to need it in your marriage to Johnny Boy. Good luck with that. And so Jen shares how she discovered a lump, and she thanks God that, thankfully it was nothing cancerous there, and I'm happy for her on that. So again, ladies, do not ignore health is wealth. Take care of yourselves, please. And so Heather's risk factor with dense breasts is pretty high, right? And so I'm praying that doesn't mean anything, that is concerning, because, with it being high, that means there's more opportunity for the C word to be there somewhere. And, you just don't want that. So I'm hoping that she's well. I'm sure that was enough for her to really stay consistently on top of things. And I'm sure Heather doesn't take that lightly at all. And so why the girls didn't ask her if her check went well, like she said in that moment, I'm not sure. Maybe they just had too much on their brain, or they were so concerned and consumed in themselves and their own scary feelings that it just slipped their mind. But I really don't think they meant anything by it, which later on we kind of get that belief as well. And so, sidebar, I will say, Katie, she looks so beautiful, pretty in pink in her confessional. I love that. I don't know about you guys, but I thought she looked just flawless. And shout out to Ryan, because now we show different clips at, the ladies' locations. They're all packing their stuff for London. And so Jen's getting her stuff together. Ryan ends up FaceTiming her. And he's calling out Tamara's signature behaviors, and he's like, she's going to blow up. And then she's going to apologize. Then pretty much she's going to act the fool, and then she's going to apologize. Then she's going to play herself, and she's going to apologize. And those weren't his exact words, but that's pretty much what he's saying, because the moral of the story is, Tamara is a repeat offender. Tamara is predictable. Tamara is a joke. This is what Tamara does, right? Tamara feels like it's okay for her to get away with what she does, and then sorry, we'll just fix it, and then that gives her permission and a pass to do it again. And he said, she'll be her juvenile drunk self. Loved it. Beautiful description. And he said she's hashtag tacky, and I hashtag agree that she's hashtag, like, again, a clown, and hashtag shouldn't be on this show. Like, are you going to leave with Alexis? I hope you are. Again, I'm still trying to figure out why Bravo even brought this lady back. We can only wish and hope. Keep fingers crossed. So Tamara says in her confessional, she was honest and didn't lie about one damn thing, I guess, when it came to the whole situation with Ryan. And I'm like, yes, you did. Ryan already shared that with us on that exact night when, he disclosed that he didn't talk about or badmouth y'all business. And he also didn't talk about your parenting skills. So, and we can go, I'm sure there's so many other lies told, but we're just going to keep it to that one isolated instance. Yes, you did. Anywho, the ladies arrive in London. And the spaces that they'll be staying in, absolutely beautiful. Chef's kiss for sure. Loved it. And so Shannon gifts the ladies with expensive scarves. And by the way, Tamara was not scars, not scars, scarves, excuse me. And by the way, Tamara, she's asking why Shannon's not putting the money she's using for the scarves towards the lawsuit. And that's easy, because she's not going to pay John the money. She doesn't want to. How about that? And so Tamara asked Heather if they're going to bring up the Jeff Lewis interview, because Shannon had admitted apparently in this interview that the money from John was a loan. And so now Heather's questioning Shannon's credibility. And, Tamara's calling her a straight up liar, right? And shout out to, forgive me if I'm saying this wrong, I think it's A. Shakur. uh A Shakir 622. Because like you said in and on the dance floor last week, I hope that Tamara gets lit up at that reunion. I hope they gather her with every fiber. Remember that one season? It wasn't, it could have been Tamara getting into it with Alexis. I can't remember. And they were all sitting at a long table. And I just remember Tamara being so upset. She got up and she started running. It was like a long stretch of like a hallway. And she was just running because she was so upset. I hope they send her running like that because I'm so over this lady and her nonsense. Um, like, oh, she just gets on my nerves. And it's like, Shannon, pay attention though. I hope you're watching these episodes to the fact that your girl that loves you and cares about you is calling you a liar and everything else under the sun. Let's not forget the drunk, let's not forget the fact that again, she's been playing in your face in many different ways, even with Alexis and John's relationship. I'm still reminded of this season's episode where she pretty much was telling John impliedly that he looks so much better not being with Shannon. Like she is a mess. And Tamara and Heather, as far as I'm concerned, they both sounded crazy because so what Shannon was telling Jeff Lewis that she didn't really know certain things about the incident that night, and then was telling them something different about John. Yeah, obviously it's easy to confide in your girlfriends and to have that comfort level with them as opposed to sitting on somebody's interviewed podcast or radio show or whatever the case and have to keep up with this stuff. And we don't know what frame of mind she could have been in at that moment. That lady has been going through a lot. When I tell you, and I'm sure you guys know, like they say, for starters, even just mommy brain is a thing, right? But as you get older, sometimes you're just not as swift and as quick as you could be. And it might not even be that. It could be that your responsibilities increase. So it's so much that you have to keep up with in your mind that sometimes wires do get crossed. I can't tell you the countless amount of times that I might have said one thing and then be like, oh, yeah, that's right. I mean, no, I didn't mean to say that, or whatever the case. It happens. So the freak what? This still gives him a right to sue her? Who cares? Loan, not loan, this man still needs to get a life. And the way he's been coming at her and threatening her with stuff, I don't give a crap if it was a loan or not, like I said, but whatever the case may be. And so, I know at one point too, she used to be cool and close with Jeff Lewis. I don't know what their relationship is. So some might argue that, oh, well, she's close with him or that's her friend. So what's the difference? Well, again, the difference is it's a different day. We don't know, like I said, what was happening that day. And then she's being like, yes, you have the cameras of her recording what she's saying to Heather also when she's confiding in her. But Shannon's so, it's almost like I'm sure they're not even there to her. They become second nature. It's different when you have to be polished and refined and correct for an interview. So whatever. I wasn't here for the nonsense of that. And so what? She switched it up. It happens. Okay. Like they say too, charge it to my heart, not my mind. Sometimes stuff like that happens. Anyways, you're liable to choke up for sure. I feel like in those type of situations. So the ladies are now at dinner and Tamara asked how the memos went. And that leads to Heather saying no one asked her, right? And Shannon said she thought that she heard kind of cheering going on in Heather's room, like everything was okay. And Heather kind of confirmed, no, that wasn't me. That was so and so, whoever the case. And you could tell the ladies were a little lost in that moment. Like I said earlier, I don't think they meant anything by it. And so Heather shares again her percentage for the risk of breast cancer is pretty high. It's at 40%, which is unfortunate. I'm sure something that was and had been on her mind after that probably every other minute. And so I get her upset when she, got emotional and teary-eyed about the fact that no one checked in on her, with her results because she was in a tough mental spot. And I'm not going to take that away from her, right? And she's scared, so naturally it's easy to blame things or deflect, but the root cause is not personal. She's going through something. She's, in turmoil internally because she doesn't know what the heck could be happening. And so Gina shares in her confessional that she feels it's hypocrisy on Heather's part, um, because she waited to share how upset she was. And she feels like Heather could have called her right away after the appointment to let her know. Whereas it's like Heather jumped down her throat when she didn't reveal to her soon enough the Katie situation with the whole paparazzi. And I'm like, well, Gina, I get that Heather could have called you, but at the same time, you're not one of Heather's favorite people in this moment. So I don't think you would be a thought to call. And then, secondly, I feel like the window of time, and again, y'all don't hold me to it. That's why I say it's not facts, just fun. And y'all correct me if I'm wrong on the dance floor. The window of time between your failure to disclose the whole Katie thing and Heather not calling you after your appointment is it was like you it seemed you waited longer. And I know they showed a flashback, but I wasn't that invested in my thoughts with it. But I felt like you waited longer to say something, and it's a different kind of situation. So, anyways, Katie shares her and her family will go to Korea to meet her mom, and she shares the whole backstory of that, which was really touching, and she got emotional. And sidebar, when I tell you Heather with these confessionals, you guys, this season, I am loving it because again, she's so shady, but she's so cool about it. And I think she said something to the tune of, Katie's history is like an interesting, too bad she's not. I was like, okay, I'm done. I just but I love it. I mean, again, this is the kind of stuff that I tune in for. And so here comes Tamara's messy, underhanded, calculated, asking Shannon what's going on with the lawsuit. And I'm thinking, well, girl, if you really wanted to know, why don't you call your homegirl Alexis? You love her so much. You guys are so close. Why don't you call her to find out? Furthermore, you probably already have. So why are you asking that question? Oh, I know why. Because again, you want to be who you are, a horrible individual to your so-called girlfriend, putting her on blast in front of everybody unnecessarily. And so, anyways, with friends like Tamara, again, who needs enemies? Heather's like, why are we bringing this up? And I'm like, great question, Heather. So she also brings up the whole Jeff Lewis interview, and Shannon says that John presented her with a promissory note for the money. They get into the hairs and stuff at all. And as I stated, I hope Shannon is watching this season again and taking notes and building her muscles for the reunion, because child, mm, Tamara says in her confessional, and this is one of the reasons why I hope Shannon was watching, that Shannon borrowed the money. She knows for a fact that Shannon borrowed the money, and she can see John's point of view, because if she were him, pretty much she'd sue Shannon's ass also. And I'm like, really, girl? Again, you call yourself friend. Okay. Just despicable. Okay, let me add to Ryan's hashtags. Hashtag despicable. Hashtag gross. Hashtag wolf in sheep's clothing, but not really, because you do make yourself pretty obvious. People just choose to ignore it. Hashtag stay away from me. Hashtag good and be my friend. Not today, not tomorrow, not now, not ever. Not with a million apologies. A mess. And so Heather then brings up the picture Shannon shared with her about, her facial injuries that night that they were in Sonoma. And Heather says she feels used. And so Shannon then gets emotional again, which I understand, because this lady is, again, hanging on by a string with everything happening. And she says, how does Heather turn that into something about her? Which is correct as well. Like, Heather, sometimes you really just do too much, this is not about you. This is not a time where you need to be pacified. I feel like this season, we're getting everything where all fingers have to keep pointing back to making sure Heather's okay, making sure we didn't offend Heather, making sure that, uh, we check in on Heather, making sure that we're careful what we say to Heather, making sure that we don't admonish Heather, all types of stuff. And it's like, girl, this is not the Heather show. This is not the Real Housewives of Heather. Yeah, your money might be long. Yeah, you might be that girl in other senses with, what you bring to the table, but not in this arena. Like, you really need to step back and get yourself together. Get yourself together. Like, that's so self-centered and so selfish and so inconsiderate to sit up here when this lady is going through and then turn it back around to you feel used. Like, what are you even talking about? I don't know why nobody, I know the ladies kind of called her out a little bit, but somebody should have shut her all the way down. Like, Heather, you sound ridiculous. You really, really do. And you should be ashamed of yourself. And I know you have more class than to say something as retarded as that. Okay. So Anyways, thank you, Jen, though, because I will say she, I remember them panning in on her, speaking up to the fact, and I think she did in confessional, that, Shannon was relying on Heather pretty much like friends do as a sounding board. So how do you feel used in there? And, I'm not even going to talk on Tamara chiming in on that. Anyway, so as Gina said, which is my point of it all, why does any of this matter right now? Why does this matter? Because it really shouldn't. And if my friend was in a bind, y'all, going through hell, I'm not going to bring up little nuances. There's a time and a place to address all of that. The fact of the matter is that she's not doing well. The fact of the matter is she has this man and this woman riding her shoulders. The fact of the matter is she's in a bad way right now. Why y'all, like, as friends, why? Just what? Like, I don't, it's bad business, But anyways, so Shannon, Shannon ends up in her upset getting up and walking away. Gina goes behind her pretty much just to, console her and talk to her. And she shares with us the text of Alexis being involved in the lawsuit with her ex-husband Jim Bellino when they sued Shannon and Tamara, even though she claims beginning of this season she had nothing to do with that. So Shannon's like, you're a liar. And it made me think, even at the beginning of this episode, when they were in the doctor's office and Shannon was like, she's calling me liar face. So it's like, okay, well, who's the liar face now, girl? Alexis, you're the liar face, you broken bird of a liar face. Like, she's just, I don't know again why. Well, yes, I do. Well, I was going to say why Bravo thought it was a good idea to bring Alexis back, but I guess it was something to talk about with her dating John, and they probably did it for that reason. They're probably in cahoots for joining the show and trying to stay relevant for that reason. And just an epic, absolute fail. Alexis is not cut from the cloth to be able to handle this. First of all, her emotional and her intellectual intelligence is a little lackluster, to keep it kind, and she can't even keep up. She doesn't present well, and then okay. So whatever the case may be, I'm glad that Shannon was able to present that evidence to show, listen, this girl was a liar, which can then even back up, just even before, the fact that Shannon was saying she feels like she has everything to do with Alexis making this public announcement about the lawsuit that she claims she didn't. Like I said, the lady in my last review, you're a liar. You can say you did and not still say you're lying, because you are. So anyways, y'all, I want Tamara to go so bad. I really, really do. I was totally displeased with Heather's display of, you know, um, her lack of friendship and lack of empathy for Shannon. I thought she was really trying to be there for Shannon when they were in Sonoma, and I felt it in that moment. And I don't like how she switched up, because then that makes me think, no, it really wasn't genuine. Were you just doing it for the cameras or what? But anyways, y'all, enough about me, and I need to go ahead and get dressed or whatever. Y'all hop on that dance floor. Don't be no prude. Don't hold up the wall. Let me know your thoughts on this. Like, are y'all just as tired of Tamara as I am? I know A Shakur 622 is, but what about the rest of y'all? And you know, are y'all really moved either which way by the fact that this was a loan and it's making Shannon look like she wasn't telling the truth about that? Does that really have any weight, a whole lot to you guys? Let me know, you guys. But I appreciate y'all. For my special VIP people, just keep shining bright. I love that name. And I love the butterfly. I'm a butterfly girl, as you can see behind me. And then also my birthday now. And I'm not giving y'all a FU, but it's a butterfly. Very symbolic. Y'all don't know what butterflies symbolize, look it up. It's amazing. Shout out to you, A Shakur. And again, I'm sorry if I'm saying this and botching y'all up all wrong. 622. No, it's all love from me, though. Amelia Bedelia. I love that book series. Is that like kind of what you were basing your name off of? Christopher Zoro Bautista, what's going on, my guy? Emily McQueen, hello. Spencer Whitlow, the original Party King, what's going on? Paprika ASMR, hey girl. You know, I remember you, one of my day ones. And I don't know this name, so I've shortened it to Frank Maldonado. Shout out to you too. I appreciate y'all so much. So, so, so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. don't be shy to come back on the dance floor. Okay, y'all already showing what you can do. So come on, keep it coming, keep it coming. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope it made you smile just a little bit or brought a little sunshine to your day. I hope that you guys stay well. And I will be back next week to do it all over again. So until then, what do, y'all? We stay up, we stay blessed, and I'm out. Peace.